Every morning at 7:30, Emma walked through the same cafe door. She ordered a latte, sat by the window, and opened the notebook she always carried. She had moved to the city 6 months before, dreaming of a life that would feel new. She knew every street and corner, but almost no one knew her name. 5 minutes later, Daniel would arrive, black coffee and a camera in his bag. Once he dreamed of becoming a photographer, but lately he had stopped believing. Too many projects had failed, too many doors had closed. Still he carried his camera every morning, though he rarely took it out. For weeks they sat a few feet apart, without ever speaking a word. Emma noticed the camera he never used, and Daniel noticed her unfinished pages. He saw how she stopped writing when it rained. She saw how he held on to his camera, as if he couldn't let go of an old dream. They were two strangers in the same coffee shop, two quiet lives that had almost stopped. One with a story she was afraid to finish, one with a dream he was ready to lose. Neither knew that a simple morning, a single chair, and a few small words could become the beginning they had both been waiting for. Then, one rainy Tuesday, the cafe was unusually crowded. Every table was full except for one chair across from Emma. Daniel asked if he could sit there. She smiled and moved her notebook aside. For a moment they said nothing, until he asked if she was a writer. Emma said she was trying to be. Her notebooks were filled with beginnings and half-finished dreams, but somehow she never reached the end. Then she asked about his camera. Daniel said he was a photographer, or at least he used to believe he was. She asked why he carried it every day, if he never took a photograph. Daniel smiled. He hadn't known she had noticed. They were two strangers in the same coffee shop, two quiet lives that had almost stopped. One had her pages, one had his view. Both had forgotten what dreams could do. But sometimes hope returns without warning, in ordinary places, on ordinary days. Sometimes someone simply sees you, and that is enough to begin again. The next morning, Daniel returned. Instead of his usual table, he sat across from Emma again, and without ever deciding, the table by the window became theirs. One morning they made a promise. Emma would write one page every day. Daniel would take one photograph. Nothing had to be perfect. They simply had to keep going. Days became weeks, and weeks became months. 10 pages became 50, then 50 became 100. Daniel took his camera from the back and began seeing the world again. Morning light on empty streets, strangers laughing at bus stops, old couples walking hand in hand. Slowly Emma felt less alone. Someone knew her name, someone remembered her coffee. The city that once felt so distant was beginning to feel like home. Then one morning, Daniel's chair was empty. 7:35 came and went. Then another morning passed, and another. Emma kept writing her daily page, but the coffee tasted different without him. The mornings felt too quiet. Only then did she understand how much those moments had come to mean. One week later, Daniel returned. He sat across from Emma and placed an envelope on the table. Inside was a photograph of her, writing by the cafe window in the soft morning light. he had written, the first photo I took when I decided not to give up. Emma smiled and reached into her bag. She placed a finished manuscript on the table. On the first page was the title, The Same Coffee Shop, and beneath it, for the person who reminded me to finish what I started. They had been two strangers in the same coffee shop, two quiet lives that had almost stopped. She found her ending, he found his light, and between those ordinary mornings, they found their way back to life. Courage came quietly instead, sitting across a little table, reminding them to try again. Months later, Daniel held his first photography exhibition. Among the pictures on the gallery walls was the photograph of Emma by the window. Emma stood across the room, watching him speak proudly about his work, knowing that somewhere in her finished book his story lived beside hers. They had entered that coffee shop, looking for a quiet place to feel a little less lost. But sometimes the person who changes your life simply sits in the chair across from you. And sometimes a new life begins in the same coffee shop at 7:30. One page, one photograph, one morning at a time.